It talks about how in white European culture, the white supremacist culture, that they've always had this thing about literally consuming black people, black flesh. During slavery, when they had the big rebellion with Nat Turner, he was cannibalized after they killed him. They ate him. During a lot of lynchings, they would cook and barbecue people, and they would actually eat the people that they would lynch. So this was something that was a part of the white supremacist culture, consuming us literally.
A lot of the mummies that was taken out of Africa was taken to Europe and sold, and they used it as medicine, and they used it as aphrodisiacs. They ate dead people's bodies. And cannibalizing us is nothing new. The whole concept of cannibalism comes from Europe. This is part of the European culture.
Europeans have always eaten people, and they never wiped their mouths. This isn't a metaphor. Not cultural cannibalism. Not, oh, capitalism chews up labor. No, they literally devoured people. Bit by bit. Bone by bone. Organs braised. Blood fermented. Genitals dried like citrus peel. In a spice rack of colonial science. This isn't a fringe tale. It's the spine of their entire civilization. Europe is a charcuterie board of the colonized. And it has been eating other people's bodies. Black, brown, indigenous, and alive. For over 700 years. From slave ship to dissection table, Europe treated the black body like a side of beef, cut, rendered, labeled, and sold. In Senegal, French doctors boiled black corpses to extract medicinal oil, literally bottling up human fat like it was argan serum for the Enlightenment skincare routine. Karl Peters, Germany's sadistic colonial governor, murdered Africans and mailed their body parts home like souvenirs from a flesh safari. Enslaved black women like Anarcha, Lucy, and Betsy were cut open, stitched without anesthesia, and had their uteruses extracted by J. Marion Sims, who kept their tissue in jars for research. You ever been sliced into while awake, naked, and screaming, just so a white man can get his name on a hospital wing? That's not science. That's dinner prep. Their breasts were groped, their vaginas harvested, their milk stolen, their wombs auctioned. That is cannibalism. Europeans landed in the Americas, starving and stupid, and decided to eat the hosts. Spanish conquistadors fed babies to dogs alive, called it feeding pork. Las Casas said they tossed them into the mouths of dogs while they were still crying out for their mothers. In California, white settlers during the gold rush roasted indigenous children over open fires and bragged about the flavor. In Brazil, the Portuguese captured Tupinamba bodies and sent them back pickled in barrels, labeled as botanical samples. And then came the skull harvest. Indigenous people were beheaded, boiled, and their skulls cracked open for cranial science. Some were eaten, others were smoked, painted, or turned into pen holders in French salons. They didn't just kill indigenous people. They smoked them like jerky. They painted them with their ashes. They wrote treaties with ink made from their blood. And then they called you the savage. In India, during the Bengal famine, which Britain caused, millions starved. So British doctors collected the corpses, sliced out the livers, and tested nutritional theories by boiling Indian tissues and feeding it to prisoners. In Vietnam, the French used live Vietnamese bodies as meat labs, injecting them with cadaver juices, testing digestive breakdown of human organs, and collecting fecal data after feeding them rendered tissue. Imagine someone dying of hunger and the colonizer standing over them, whispering, "Great, now we can see how your spleen breaks down under duress." That's not medicine. That's fine dining for the empire.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Krakatash. Double honors to the head elders, apostles, and the bishops at the great millstone who rule well. And shalom to the hopeful elect, you brothers and sisters out there gathering faith as a treasure. I say shalom unto you. And I was watching the brothers' videos and Dokim, and came across this video by Arrows of Indignation. Shalom to that brother, always putting up really good videos. And he shared this one and bringing out the hate that Esau has for our people. Esau being the self-proclaimed white man, the Caucasian race, which goes back to being a cave dweller, Caucasian. But yeah, they're after our people, and that hatred has been since forever. And this is evidence, that it's all about Esau and Jacob, and we know that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it to follow it. We understand that there are three classifications of men: the sons of God, the sons of men, and then the sons of the wicked, the devil, But yeah, not to go off, but it says 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherein his father blessed him. So he's mad that we got the blessing because the kingdom is going to be for Jacob forever. And he was being a little crybaby. He got a blessing, but it's only temporary. He got the dew of heaven, like it says up here. It says, behold thy dwelling, 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword thou shalt live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. See, so that's prophecy that Isaac was saying what was going to happen, and that's what happened. We had them as slaves. They broke the yoke, and then they got the dominion. They went out to deceive the nations, and that's why it's called the Renaissance, the rebirth. Because after that, they whitewashed everything and got the fatness of the earth. They still have it right now. They have all the best places, and I'm gonna put in part of that video that the brother shared, and I suggest you go check it out because it'll get you pissed off. And like it says, be angry and sin not. You gotta have that fire underneath you. Just so you don't think it's all peaches and cream and, oh hey Fred, or whatever, Edomite name. Hey, act like nothing happened, whatever. Nah. Remember what they did to our people? Like in that video, it was saying about how they threw our babies still crying into the mouths of gators and dogs and things. That's wicked. That's someone that doesn't cherish life. But what can you expect? He's the devil. But yeah, right here, getting into that, Esau's always hated Jacob. And in that video, you see that you understand, like slavery, the white man had our people working in the fields and did all kinds of stuff, like saying about how, like, when Nat Turner revolted, they ate him. And I heard like they skinned them and made wallets and things out of people, out of our people. You know, and then sending postcards of hangings and all that. These motherfuckers are proud and they need to be put down, you know. And that's what Yahweh Shai is going to come and do. Put them down and fucking stomp them out, you know. Squish them like the grapes in the wine press, you know. Imagine that, you know, just a visual of, you know, get pretty graphic. People all in the wine press and, but, you know, these people are wicked, and they have hate for us. We haven't, you know, like, we haven't done anything to them like that. Hanging them, burning them, bashing them. You know, not on that kind of scale. You might get in a skirmish, whatever. But, you know, we're not out there trying to wipe off the face of the earth. You know? But yeah, let me get this. I got some scriptures written up. Ezekiel 35 and 5. Okay, check this out. Ezekiel 35 and verse 1. It reads, Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Because thou hast had, check this out, this is the verse that I had. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And who's that person that, or that race of people that talking about Mount Seir? That's Esau. Let's see. Let's get that. Okay. This is it right here. It says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. See, so verse 8, you can see Genesis 36 and 8. You can see that Esau is connected with Mount Seir. So Ezekiel 35. Thus I will make Mount Seir, Esau, most desolate. Why? Because he had a perpetual hatred for, and had shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword. And who got the sword? We just read that in Genesis 27. Let's get that here. It says right. Genesis 27 and 40. And by thy sword thou shalt live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. See, so Esau living by the sword, he killed us with the sword. And right here, verse 10, because thou hast said, these two nations, the southern and the northern kingdom of Israel, and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. See, so just like back in Egypt, we're here building up their cities. This is spiritually known as Egypt and Sodom, because we're in slavery. This is a fucking nasty ass place. The ABCD, EFG community, you know. So we got that. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to get them back for what they done to us, like in that video talking about the genitals getting cut up and dried and put in spice jars and things. That's wicked, you know. Like what made you ever think of something like that? You know, like, oh hey, this will be good on my food, you know, or you know, whatever, on my pasta. That's gross. Okay, Hebrews 12. Let's get. All right, yeah, and like I was saying, like, what made them think of doing some wicked stuff like that? Like, example, you see that series Dexter. That guy was a weirdo killer, but he came across one or two people that like to eat other people. And guess what nationality they were? They were descendants of Esau. So they show you. And then if you watch that video, it says about, like, pretty much they haven't stopped. They haven't stopped eating people. And they show you in the movies, like the movie The Pest with John Leguizamo. The movie was about him being on an island, and the island was owned by two Edomites, and they drugged them and were like, yeah, you gotta run and we're gonna get you. We're gonna hunt you. And then there's another movie like that my dad told me about. It was with Ice-T. The guy that's on like Law and Order. The one on Colors. Made that song from Colors. But yeah, that he was on an island like that they were hunting him. So, you know, nothing new under the sun. It says Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So we get this. We get fornicator. Oops. So like, you bear with me. It says
Strong's G 4205. Parnas.
And for the word fornicator, it says a man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for hire, a male prostitute, a man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator. So this guy, like you see the Hakim Sher make videos of wicked people on TikTok. There'll be reports of bestiality, all kinds of nasty articles coming out. Men and women, their partners in on it. Some wicked stuff. This is a man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse or fornicator. And then you see at these alphabet parades and stuff, who's doing the most? Esau. You see him, there's a video that I saw. It was a fat Edomite lady on a wheelchair, and she was dragging along an Edomite dressed as Trump. You got all kinds of like that one guy in the military. I think he's like in charge of the weapons or defense or something. That guy's a tranny, a white guy. The directors from Matrix, a couple white guys. Now they're identify as the other sex. So, a man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator. That's Esau for you. And then, profane person. Oops. Says,
Strong's G 952. Bebelos. Bebelos.
It says, accessible, lawful, to be trodden of places profane, unhallowed, common, public place of men, ungodly. So Esau is really ungodly, doing all kinds of wicked meals. Can't even think of anything but like human stew, the fingers in the stew and body parts, and like watch that video. It says about they're eating vaginas and uteruses. What the hell's wrong with them? That's gross. But that's their part. That's who they are. That's the wicked of the earth. We get Psalms 14 and 4. Let's get. Let's see. Okay, we can start at 14 and 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool have said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Let's get this word. Abominable. It says to abhor, be abominable, do abominably. To be abhorred, be detest, in a ritual sense, in an ethical sense. To loathe, abhor, regard as an abomination. But yeah, it says to abhor, regard as an abomination, to be detested. So Esau is detested. He's gross. They do gross things. But let's get this. Verse 2. The Lord Yahweh looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek the Most High. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge? Who eat up my people as they eat bread, and not call upon the Lord, Yahweh. There were they in great fear, for the Most High Yahweh is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord Yahweh is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion, that the Lord Yahweh bring back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. So, at the end, we're gonna win. You know, we get the kingdom, and we get them as slaves, like how Bashim Shai said, that we're gonna have the heathen as our inheritance. You know, we're gonna make them work our fields and take care of our kid. Not really. I don't know about that part. Like how they had us as their caretakers for their kids. No, heck no. Like Job said, I wouldn't even let them sit with my dogs, you know. But yeah, we're gonna crack down on them. We're gonna make sure they do everything right, the way it's supposed to be done. And if not, you know, there's gonna be a punishment. They're not gonna like it, so they're gonna learn quick. But yeah, it says that they eat us up like bread. It says, who eat up my people as they eat bread. So, you know, these people are the most wicked. And Yahweh Hashem Yahshai is coming back real soon. We see it, all this stuff happening in the news. We see it coming together, and we're excited. You know, it's gonna be a scary time, but like it says, we're prisoners of hope. That's all we can do. Pray, hope, you know, and fast. Pray and hope and fast, and you know, and call upon the name of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, because there is no other name given to men that we shall be saved. Roughly paraphrasing. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. I'm going to give double honors to the head elders, apostles, and bishops at the great millstone who rule well and who taught me this truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect, brothers and sisters out there gathering faith as a treasure. Say shalom unto you. Remember who the enemy is, and never trust the enemy, you know. But with that, till next time, I say shalom. God willing, shalom.